Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Smart Learning. I'm David.
And I'm Lisa. We're so happy to see you again. Today, we have a really exciting topic for you: how to learn English through movies.
Before we start, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a lesson.
Absolutely. So, David, why are movies such a great way to learn English?
Well, Lisa, movies show us real-life conversations. You hear how native speakers actually talk. It's very different from what you find in textbooks. Textbooks teach grammar and vocabulary, but movies teach how people really speak in everyday life.
Yes, and it's not just about the words. When you watch movies, you also learn emotions, tone, and pronunciation naturally. For example, when an actor is surprised, angry, or happy, you can hear the change in their voice. This helps learners understand intonation and expressive speaking.
Another reason is that movies expose you to different accents and dialects. For instance, American, British, Australian, and Irish English all sound different. By watching movies, learners get used to these variations and learn to understand different types of English.
That's true. For example, if you watch an American comedy, you'll hear casual phrases and jokes, which are useful for speaking with friends. If you watch a British drama, you'll hear formal expressions and unique words that you won't find in many textbooks.
And movies make learning fun. When you enjoy the story, you don't feel like you are studying. You are focused on the plot, but at the same time, your brain is learning vocabulary, grammar patterns, and natural expressions.
Exactly. Also, movies are very convenient. You can watch them at home, on your phone, or even on TV. This makes English practice easy to fit into your daily routine. Even watching short clips or series episodes can be very helpful.
So the first key point is movies combine learning with entertainment, which helps learners remember words and phrases much better than just reading them or memorizing them.
And another benefit is that movies teach cultural understanding. You see how people behave, their traditions, humor, and daily life. Understanding culture is very important when learning a language because it makes communication more natural.
Absolutely. For example, in American movies, you might see Thanksgiving celebrations. In British films, tea time or afternoon conversations are common. Learning these details helps learners understand English not just as a language, but as a living culture.
So, for beginners and advanced learners alike, starting your English learning journey with movies is practical, enjoyable, and highly effective.
That's right. And the best part? You can combine movies with other learning methods like writing down new words, repeating sentences, or even discussing scenes with friends.
Exactly. Learning English through movies is not just about watching, it's about active participation. Pay attention, repeat lines, and try to speak like the actors.
We'll explain how to choose the right movies and how to use subtitles effectively.
Yes, choosing the right movie is very important. David, what advice would you give for beginners?
For beginners, it's best to start with simple and short movies. Animated movies or family films are perfect because the language is easier, the sentences are short, and the vocabulary is common.
Absolutely. For example, movies like Finding Nemo or Toy Story use simple words and everyday expressions. Plus, the stories are fun, so learners stay interested.
And for intermediate learners, I recommend watching comedies or dramas. These movies have more complex sentences and sometimes introduce idioms or slang. It's a little challenging, but very rewarding.
Right. And advanced learners can watch longer films, thrillers, or historical movies. These movies often have formal dialogues, multiple accents, and vocabulary that is more sophisticated.
The key is always pick a movie that matches your level and also something you enjoy. If the movie is boring, you'll lose interest, and learning will be hard. Now let's talk about subtitles. They are extremely useful for learning. At first, beginners should use English subtitles. This way, you can read and listen at the same time.
Yes, choosing the right movie is very important. David, what advice would you give for beginners?
For beginners, it's best to start with simple and short movies. Animated movies or family films are perfect because the language is easier, the sentences are short, and the vocabulary is common.
Absolutely. For example, movies like Finding Nemo or Toy Story use simple words and everyday expressions. Plus, the stories are fun, so learners stay interested.
And for intermediate learners, I recommend watching comedies or dramas. These movies have more complex sentences and sometimes introduce idioms or slang. It's a little challenging, but very rewarding.
Right. And advanced learners can watch longer films, thrillers, or historical movies. These movies often have formal dialogues, multiple accents, and vocabulary that is more sophisticated.
The key is always pick a movie that matches your level and also something you enjoy. If the movie is boring, you'll lose interest, and learning will be hard.
Now, let's talk about subtitles. They are extremely useful for learning. At first, beginners should use English subtitles. This way, you can read and listen at the same time.
Exactly. Your brain will connect the spoken words with the written words. This improves spelling, pronunciation, and listening skills all at once.
After watching a scene with subtitles, you can watch it again without subtitles. This helps train your ears to understand spoken English naturally, without relying on reading.
Another tip is to pause and replay sentences. Repeat the lines out loud. You can even write them down and memorize useful expressions.
Yes. For example, if a character says, "I can't believe this happened," pause, repeat it, and try to say it with the same emotion and pronunciation. This is how you learn natural intonation and emotions in English.
Subtitles also help you notice new vocabulary. You can write down difficult words, check their meanings, and later use them in your own sentences.
One more important thing, avoid using subtitles in your native language at first. English learners sometimes fall into the trap of translating everything, which slows down learning. Stick to English subtitles as much as possible.
And remember, learning English through movies is not just about watching, it's about interacting with the language. Pause, repeat, write, imitate, and speak.
So, in short, choose the right movie for your level, use English subtitles, repeat and imitate, and gradually try watching without subtitles. This method works for beginners, intermediate, and advanced learners alike.
Exactly. With these tips, every movie you watch becomes a learning experience, not just entertainment.
That's right. All right, David. Now that we've learned how to choose the right movie and use subtitles, let's talk about listening and pronunciation practice.
Yes, Lisa. Listening is one of the most important skills in learning English. Movies give learners the chance to hear natural speech, speed, and accents that you can't find in textbooks.
Exactly. A good way to start is by listening actively. Don't just watch for fun. Focus on how the actors pronounce words, how they stress certain syllables, and the rhythm of their sentences.
For example, when an actor says, "I can't believe it," notice how the words flow together. Sometimes words are connected, like "I can't" sounding like "I can't," or "I can't believe it" sounding like "I can't believe it."
That's a great point. Another method is called shadowing. You repeat the lines immediately after the actor, copying their tone, speed, and pronunciation as closely as possible.
Shadowing is very effective because it trains your mouth and brain at the same time. You learn not just the words, but also how English really sounds.
Also, don't worry about mistakes at first. It's normal if your accent isn't perfect. The key is consistency. Try shadowing for a few minutes every day, and over time, your pronunciation will improve naturally.
Another tip is to focus on intonation and emotion. English is not only about words, it's about how you say them. Listen to the actor's emotions and try to imitate them. For example, happy sentences are often higher in pitch, angry ones sharper and louder, and sad sentences slower and softer.
And you can also combine this with writing. Write down difficult sentences or phrases and practice saying them aloud. This reinforces listening and speaking together.
Yes, short daily practice is better than long, irregular sessions. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused listening and pronunciation practice every day makes a huge difference.
Finally, try mixing scenes from different genres. Comedies often have faster, casual speech, while dramas or documentaries have slower, formal speech. This exposes you to a variety of speaking styles.
So, in short, listen actively, shadow lines, focus on pronunciation, intonation, and emotion, write down tricky phrases, and practice daily. Movies are a goldmine for improving your listening and speaking skills.
David, now that we have focused on listening and pronunciation, I think it's time to discuss speaking practice. Movies are not just for hearing English, they're an amazing tool for speaking fluently.
Absolutely, Lisa. One of the best ways to practice speaking is to imitate actors. Pick a short scene, pause it, and repeat every line just like the characters. Pay attention to tone, emotion, and rhythm.
Yes. For example, if a character says, "I can't believe this is happening," repeat it a few times. Try to sound surprised or excited exactly like the actor. This helps you sound more natural, not robotic.
Another fun method is role-playing. You can act out a scene with a friend, family member, or even alone. Pretend you are in the movie and respond naturally to the lines. This makes speaking practice interactive and enjoyable.
Definitely. And don't forget recording yourself. Record your voice while repeating lines, then compare it with the original actors. You'll notice differences in pronunciation, intonation, and emotion, which helps you improve faster.
Exactly. And movies introduce a lot of new vocabulary and expressions. Every genre has its own type of words. For example, action movies might teach you words like mission, escape, dangerous, rescue, while romantic movies teach promise, love, destiny, heartbreak.
And it's not just individual words. Phrases and idioms are also very important. For instance, phrases like break the ice, hit the jackpot, or once in a blue moon are commonly used by native speakers. Learning these helps you sound more fluent and natural.
Yes, and the key is to write down new words and phrases. Keep a notebook specifically for movie vocabulary. Write the word, its meaning, and an example sentence. Later, try to use it in your conversations.
Another tip is to use vocabulary in context. Don't just memorize words. After watching a scene, try making your own sentences with the new words. This helps your brain remember and apply them naturally.
Also, when practicing speaking, focus on intonation and emotion. English is not only about words, it's about how you say them. Happy sentences are usually higher in pitch, angry sentences sharper and louder, and sad sentences slower and softer.
And for longer practice, combine shadowing and role play. Shadow the lines first, then act out the scene. Repeat words, phrases, and sentences until you feel comfortable.
Another tip is to mix different types of movies. Comedies are faster and casual, dramas are slower and more formal, and documentaries are very precise and clear. This helps you experience different styles of English.
Exactly, and don't worry about mistakes. Making mistakes is part of learning. Speak every day, even if it's just a few lines. Consistency matters more than perfection.
So, to summarize, repeat lines, shadow actors, role-play scenes, record yourself, write down new words, practice them in sentences, focus on intonation, and mix movie types. This is a complete method for speaking and vocabulary improvement.
Yes, movies are more than entertainment. They are a full language classroom. If you practice like this, your speaking and vocabulary will improve naturally, and learning will be fun. David, we've practiced listening, pronunciation, speaking, and vocabulary. But one thing learners often forget is cultural understanding.
Absolutely, Lisa. Movies are not just about language. They also teach us about culture, traditions, and everyday life in English-speaking countries.
For example, by watching American movies, learners see holidays like Thanksgiving or Halloween, family traditions, and even casual conversations at home.
Yes, and British movies often show tea time, polite expressions, and formal manners. Understanding culture is very important because it helps learners communicate naturally, not just correctly.
Exactly. Without cultural knowledge, you might know words and grammar, but your conversations could sound unnatural or awkward. Movies bridge that gap perfectly.
And here's another tip. Try not to just watch passively. Observe how characters interact, how they greet each other, and how they express emotions. This will improve your practical English skills.
Absolutely. Another great habit is to watch the same movie multiple times. The first time, focus on the story. The second time, notice words and phrases. The third time, practice repeating lines and imitating accents.
Yes, repetition is key. Daily practice, even just 20 to 30 minutes, can make a huge difference over time. Consistency beats long sessions done rarely.
And don't forget to combine watching movies with speaking, listening, and writing. For example, after watching a scene, write down new words and phrases, then try to use them in your daily conversations.
Also, make it fun. Learning English should not feel like a chore. You can watch your favorite genres, comedies, dramas, action films, while learning at the same time.
Yes, and if you enjoy the learning process, you'll naturally improve faster. Even small daily habits like repeating a phrase or noting down a new expression add up to big progress over time.
Another tip is to discuss movies with friends. Talk about the plot, favorite scenes, or new words you learned. This gives you a chance to practice real communication in English.
That's a great point. Communication is the ultimate goal. Vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar are important, but speaking confidently and naturally is what learners really need.
So, to summarize, pay attention to cultural aspects in movies. Watch actively and repeatedly. Practice daily for 20 to 30 minutes. Combine watching with speaking and writing, and discuss movies with friends.
Exactly. If you follow these tips, you'll not only improve your English, but also gain a deeper understanding of English-speaking cultures. Movies become more than just entertainment, they become a powerful learning tool.
So, learners, pick your favorite movies, apply all these strategies, and enjoy learning English every day. You'll be surprised at how much progress you can make naturally.
David, we've covered listening, pronunciation, speaking, vocabulary, cultural learning, and daily practice. I think it's time to review everything and give our final tips.
Absolutely, Lisa. Let's start with a quick review. First, movies help learners listen to natural English, real conversations, accents, emotions, and intonation.
Then, using subtitles effectively is very important. Beginners should use English subtitles and gradually try watching without subtitles. Pausing, repeating, and writing new words helps improve comprehension.
Next, speaking practice is key. Repeat lines, role-play scenes, record yourself, and focus on intonation and emotion. Don't worry about mistakes. It's part of learning.
Vocabulary and idioms are also crucial. Write down new words, make sentences, and try to use them in your daily conversations. Movies introduce words and expressions in real context, which is much more effective than just memorizing.
Cultural understanding is another important aspect. Observe how characters interact, learn their traditions, humor, and daily routines. This will make your English more natural and practical.
And daily practice is essential. Even 20-30 minutes every day is much better than watching for hours occasionally. Consistency is what leads to real progress.
Now, some extra tips for learners. 1. Choose movies you enjoy. If you like the story, you will stay motivated. 2. Mix genres. Comedies, dramas, action, and documentaries teach different styles of English. 3. Active participation. Don't just watch. Listen, repeat, imitate, write, and speak. 4. Discuss movies with friends. Sharing your learning experience makes it fun and interactive.
Yes, and remember, learning English through movies is a journey, not a race. Enjoy every moment, laugh, get surprised, and learn naturally.
Motivation is very important. Don't give up if you don't understand everything at first. Even if you catch just a few words or expressions, you are improving every day.
Another tip, Try to set goals. For example, today you may focus on listening carefully, tomorrow on vocabulary, and the next day on pronunciation. This makes learning more structured.
And always review your progress. Rewatch old movies or scenes you liked. Compare your current understanding with before. You'll see how much you've improved.
So learners, movies are not just entertainment. They are a powerful tool for learning English, improving speaking, listening, vocabulary, pronunciation, and cultural understanding.
Exactly. Pick a movie, follow the tips we shared, practice every day, and you'll notice amazing improvement in your English skills.
Remember, learning English should be fun and natural. Movies make it possible. So enjoy, practice, and never stop learning.
That's right. Keep watching, keep learning, and most importantly, have fun while doing it.
David, now that we've covered all the main techniques, let's share some extra tips for faster English learning through movies.
Great idea, Lisa. One important tip is to focus on repeated phrases. When you hear a phrase multiple times, it sticks in your memory better. For example, sentences like "what's going on" or "I can't believe it" appear in many movies. Repeating them helps you remember naturally.
Yes, repetition is key. Another tip is to pause and analyze. Don't just watch passively. Pause the scene, try to repeat the line, and notice word stress, intonation, and pronunciation.
And don't forget to shadow actors with emotion. Try to copy not only the words, but also the feeling. If a character is angry, try to sound angry. If someone is happy, sound excited. This improves expressive speaking.
Another tip is dividing your learning into parts. For example, today, focus on listening. Tomorrow, focus on vocabulary. And the next day, focus on speaking. This makes your learning more structured and effective.
Yes, and you can also use scenes for conversation practice. Pick a short dialogue and try to act it out with a friend. This gives you real-life speaking experience in a fun way.
Exactly. Also, note down new words, idioms, and expressions. Make your own mini dictionary. Later, review it regularly. Using words in sentences is better than just memorizing them.
Another effective method is to watch movies with subtitles first, then without subtitles. First, understand the meaning with subtitles. Then, listen carefully without subtitles to improve listening skills.
Yes, and if you want, you can also try voice recording. Record yourself repeating dialogues, then compare with the original. This helps improve pronunciation, fluency, and confidence.
One more tip is to choose movies that match your level. Beginners start with animated films or family movies. Intermediate learners try comedies and dramas. Advanced learners can enjoy historical or action-packed movies with complex vocabulary.
Motivation is very important. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Every word or sentence you learn is progress. Consistency matters more than perfection.
And finally, make learning fun. Enjoy the story, laugh at the jokes, feel the emotions, and learn without stress. Movies make learning natural and enjoyable.
So, learners, apply all the techniques we shared. Repeat phrases, pause and analyze, shadow actors, practice daily, use vocabulary actively, discuss with friends, and enjoy the movies.
Exactly. With dedication and regular practice, your English skills will improve quickly, and you'll feel more confident in listening, speaking, and understanding real-life English.
David, after all the tips we shared, I think it's important to show learners a practical daily routine for learning English through movies.
Absolutely, Lisa. A daily routine helps learners stay consistent and improves English faster. Let's break it into simple steps.
Step 1. Morning listening practice. Watch a short scene or part of a movie for 10 to 15 minutes. Focus on listening carefully, noticing pronunciation, intonation, and emotions.
Step 2. Vocabulary and note-taking. Write down new words, phrases, and idioms you hear. Make sentences using them. This reinforces memory and helps you use them in daily conversations.
Step 3. Speaking practice. Pick 1 or 2 sentences from the scene and shadow the actors. Repeat them with correct tone and emotion. You can also role-play the dialogue with a friend or family member.
Step 4. Review and repeat. Watch the same scene again without subtitles. Try to understand words naturally. Pause and repeat tricky phrases. The repetition helps long-term retention.
Step 5. Evening reflection. Summarize what you learned today. Think about new words, phrases, and expressions you can use tomorrow. Reflection strengthens memory and keeps you motivated.
And remember, you don't need to spend hours every day. Even 20 to 30 minutes consistently is better than irregular long sessions.
Another tip: choose movies you enjoy. If you like the story, learning becomes fun. Mix genres too: animated movies, comedies, dramas, or documentaries. Each genre teaches different types of language.
Also, don't hesitate to record your voice. Listen to it and compare with the original dialogues. This improves pronunciation, fluency, and confidence.
And make it interactive. Talk with friends about your favorite scenes, new words, or funny dialogues. Practicing with others reinforces learning and makes it enjoyable.
Motivation is key. Even if you understand only a few words or phrases at first, every small step counts. Celebrate progress and don't get discouraged by mistakes.
Exactly. The main point is consistency and enjoyment. Learning English should never feel like a chore. Movies make it natural and entertaining.
So learners, here's a simple daily plan. Morning listening, note vocabulary, shadow and role play, repeat scenes, and reflect in the evening. Practice consistently and you'll see amazing improvement in weeks.
Remember, learning English through movies is a journey. Enjoy the process, stay motivated, and apply the techniques we shared. Your English skills will grow naturally every day.
Keep watching, keep practicing, and most importantly, have fun while learning.